Today I'm going to work a Saturday in London, but not just any Saturday. This is Pride.
You might be thinking I'm slightly sadistic for working a day like today with so many closures. It's annoying when you get jobs like that because it really brings a downer on it. Like, you think, why am I out here? Like, is it not valued that I've just got you from A to B? I told myself I didn't want to stay out this late.
Before I get to work, it's quite important that I understand which roads might be closed. Thankfully, I've done my homework and there's a comprehensive list here. Archer Street, Dean Street, Frith Street, Golden Square, Soho Square, Little Argyle Street, Great Marlborough Street, Big Street, Warwick Street, Glasshouse Street, Brewer Street, Hare Street, Hopkins Street, Poland Street, Great Woodland Street, Wardour Street, Greek Street, O'Connor Street, Bramley Street, Berwick Street. Oh, and additional closures, Shaftesbury Avenue, Cockspur Street, Regent Street, and Pall Mall East, and the whole of Trafalgar Square. Yeah, I'm not too sure how I can do my job, but let's give it a go. I come in via East Finchley and I get an app job that's going to go from Hampstead Garden suburb to the Marylebone Theatre on Park Road. Absolute touch, because that's what I love to pull me straight into the action. And it's my usual drive in, so in terms of calculating the route, I don't really have to think about it too much because I just do this every day anyway. Going to drop down through Hampstead, North End Way, Heath Street, and we're going to go down Fitzjohn's Avenue because that neatly pulls us into College Crescent, around Swiss Cottage, and down into Finchley Road. Going past St John's Wood area, down into Wellington Road, around the roundabout, and through into Park Road. Nice, just drop them off on the right there. Once I drop off, I need to tread carefully here. I know that the closer I get to the West End, the more likely I'm going to get pulled into possibly the Soho and West End area. I have a hunt around the Marylebone High Street area, and to be honest, I actually struggle. I thought there'd be an abundance of work because of lack of cab drivers not working because of the extensive road closures, but also just cars struggling to get to places. So you have more cabs trapped in areas, meaning that there's less cabs to go around. I eventually pick up this nice gentleman who's on Wigmore Street, and he's just after Ivor Place. Now, Ivor Place is up near Marylebone Station, so I instantly know once I've dropped him off, I'm more than likely to try the stations. So to leave it, I just take Marylebone Lane, get myself a left into Bentinck Street, and a right into Fayre Street, which is pretty much the bottom of Marylebone High Street. Left George Street, I just run it all the way over to Gloucester Place, get a right onto Gloucester Place, and forward that up into Dorset Square, and get a left into Ivor Place.
2 jobs down, no casualties as of yet. What I'm trying to do is get as close to the road closures as possible without a passenger on, because it's quite hard to discern from that list exactly like which bits of the roads are closed and how much is closed. And I find the success on days like this is often made in understanding those road closures. You can work really well providing you know exactly what those closures are doing.
I join Marylebone, I wait it for a little bit, and I get some Pride revellers who wish to go to the heart of the action in Soho. Now, straight away, I'm quite quick to tell them that there is extensive road closures in the area, so I'll drop them as close as I can. I know that more than likely, I probably want to drop them on the north of Soho. So realistically, I need to get to Newman Street, left into Marylebone Road, and get myself a right into Harley Street. Left Cavendish Square, forward into Cavendish Place, forward Mortimer Street, right Newman Street, and then the traffic starts to build up a bit here. The great thing with these passengers is they know London quite well, so they can appreciate that when I say, look, from this point onwards, it's probably going to be quicker to walk. End of the day, I don't want them sitting in a taxi on a nice day like this. I want them to get out, enjoy themselves, and obviously I can get paid much faster. Today I'm thinking I'm going to head around the stations. I'm thinking I'm probably going to get to the Euston direction. But en route, I had this lady hail me down in the weirdest of places on Cheney Street. Now she gets in and just asks for St Paul's Cathedral. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a relatively easy run. She asks how long is this likely to take. I explain about the extensive road closures, but more than likely the city is probably going to be less affected by it. Google's saying it's apparently 16 minutes. As we approach the junction of Gower Street, I can see that Gower Street is incredibly heavy. More than likely any traffic that's going towards the West End, of course with the closures, it's all building up on Gower Street. So I opt to go up to Torrington Place. As we get to Torrington Place, she asks if I can do a deal or have a fixed price to Stansted Airport. Now generally, I don't really like doing deals or fixed price work because I don't really like going out of town when I've come into town to work. You know, if it's the end of my shift, I might honour a fixed price because there's only a small window of earning potential. So if I can get a big job to finish my day off, that'll be great. But middle of the shift, it's either the meter or nothing really. I ask her, when do you need to get to the airport for? And she says 4 p.m. Well, it's 20 past 2 right now. So I'm already glad I've not honoured and taken this job because there's unnecessary stress there. From Torrington Place, I take Bedford Way, left and around the top of Russell Square, forward into Southampton Row, and left into Theobald's Road. Take a right into Drake Street, forward Red Lion Square, forward Proctor Street, and left into High Holborn. And as we approach Waterhouse Square, she just asked to be stopped here. I think she's trying to do like the buses and stuff, or even possibly like Uber apps all at the same time, but generally she just seems a little bit too flustered. I try and help people as much as I can in this situation, but at the end of the day, if you leave it that late, there's only so much I can do. I'm not a miracle maker.
Time for a break and an introduction to the sponsor of today's video. Well, they need no introduction. It's, of course, Y-Food.
Guys, you know how important Y-Food is to me, both within my work on YouTube and within the taxi. Probably going to be incredibly difficult for me to get to my usual eating places so I can refuel throughout my shift. It fits very neatly into my days, just for those kind of occasions when I'm not too sure how or when I'm gonna get food, or if I've gone to like so late in the day and I realise I've not even eaten, I can quickly guzzle a Y-Food and be on my merry way. If you haven't tried Y-Food, right now is going to be one of the best times to buy it, because until Tuesday the 27th, they're giving you 20% off using my discount code. That's available site-wide on any product, including bars, powders, and the bundles. It's a minimum of £45 spend, so it's a great time to stock up, get a huge variety of flavours, and that means you're going to be covered in whatever eventuality you find yourself in. From there onwards, it will revert back to the normal 10% discount. Now, let's hopefully not get caught out by some of these road closures.
Already got some evidence of pride in here, sequins everywhere. Stiff brush, cab essential. I've had this for years. I had this when I got out. 6 years old, this brush. Triggers broom. Yeah, so she wants St Paul's Cathedral, but transpires en route that she's actually wanting to get to Stansted for a 4 o'clock flight. And ironically, her trying to, haggle with the price is more than likely she's going to be super late for this flight. And even if I did do it on the meter, I've got to deal with that stress all the way there. You might be thinking I'm slightly sadistic for working a day like today with so many closures, but I like it because it is kind of challenging. It's working around the closures, outsmarting where the traffic goes with the closures. Let's go.
What I do when I don't have a passenger on is try and get as close as possible to the road closures. Sometimes they'll give you this big list of roads that are closed, but there might only be a section of that road that's closed, or you can access it, something like that. I can see the whole length of Strand is closed, so I'm forced over Waterloo Bridge. Some of my groups are saying that the stations are busy. I figure, let's give Waterloo Station a go. There's a few cabs in front of me, but it does seem to be moving, and this gent is just after St Pancras. So I just go straight over Waterloo Bridge. Annoyingly, the Kingsway tunnel is shut, so it's a little bit heavy getting onto the Aldwych, but from there, I can fire it up the Kingsway, all the way forward into Southampton Row, forward Russell Square, and I'm going to do my little wiggle around Russell Square station so I can drop St Pancras this way. You do a right into Coram Street, right Marchmont Street, left Bernard Street, left into Brunswick Square, forward Hunter Street, forward Judd, left Lee Street, right Cartwright Gardens, and you exit out onto the Euston Road using Mableden Place. From there, we can just get the left into Pancras Road and drop them off on the left. Now, as it's probably going to be a lot of station work and I'm already at King's Cross, I decide to join the station here. Now, you can see these cabs spinning to get on the rank here at the drop-off. But this creates so many arguments in the taxi trade because the rank actually extends all the way up to Goods Way. There could be a queue of drivers stuck at the traffic lights by Evans and YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. So I want to make sure I do this properly. I go up to the top near YouTube, see there's no other taxis before I get my U-turn and join the rank. As I progress through, I actually get a job from the split of the rank at King's Cross. Now, I actually made a video about how taxi ranks work. If there's a break in the rank, each break actually starts its own new rank. So even though I'm not at the very front of King's Cross, I can still take this job because I'm at the front of this feeder portion. And it's one of my favourite jobs in the taxi. They just want to go to Paddington. This is where I just pretend I'm like a train driver or something. You just leave by Pancras Road, right onto Euston Road, and just go straight. All I've got to do is just time the bus that might be in the bus lane in front of me, go around it and back into the bus lane. Cruise my way all the way to Victory, Marylebone Road, Marylebone Flyover, peel off onto the Harrow Road slip road, go over the roundabout, up Bishopsbridge Road and get a left into the station. Easy peasy. There does seem to be quite a few taxis ranking at Paddington, so I leave the rank and I think I'm just going to sort of circle the general area. And I'm quite lucky to pick up this job on Eastbourne Terrace. She asks for Godfrey Street, and I'm yet to learn that this is probably going to be the worst job of the day with one of the rudest passengers. As soon as the lady gets in, I brief to her exactly what is going on.
Because of Pride and everything that's going on, and Hyde Park shut as well, so I'm going to be coming down Kensington Church Street.
Lots of roads shut in the West End, Park Lane is shut southbound, and Hyde Park is shut. Therefore, the only way I can get to Chelsea is using Kensington Church Street or a further road along there. Now, the ideal route for this, if conditions were perfect, would be to bang it straight through Hyde Park. But this isn't an option, sadly, today. It's all going well, and then as traffic begins to build up a little bit on Bayswater Road, she asks me where I'm going. I repeat exactly what I said when she got in.
Basically, because Park Lane's shut and Hyde Park's shut, everyone's got to go down this street. So I'm going to go the next one over, which according to Google is going to be a bit quieter.
It's quite important, I find, as well, to not fluff up the answer when people say this. It's very much like, this is the scenario, this is what I'm doing to rectify it. I can see a lot of traffic is trying to get the left into Palace Gardens Terrace for Kensington Church Street. And plenty of cabbie groups are saying avoid Kensington Church Street at all costs. So I go one further and use Campden Hill Road, because there's a lot of options that you can wiggle on and off there. As we get to the bottom of Campden Hill Road, I can see there's a lot of traffic where you get forced down into Hornton Street to go around Kensington and Chelsea council offices. And I know that once I go down Hornton Street, there's just this one little set of lights that only lets a couple of cars out, forced left, onto Kensington High Street. So I spot a good opportunity here to wiggle through some of the back streets of Kensington. And that's using Duchess of Bedford Walk, down Phillimore Gardens, across Phillimore Place, and down Argyle Road. All lovely and clear. This is beautiful. And then because I'm already this far along for the line, I just opt to come down Wright's Lane and Marlowe's Road, all flowing pretty well. She has the cheek to say that I've just gone in one big circle.
No, I haven't.
Well, I'll let you look at the map line and come to your own conclusion there. I just want to get my passenger from A to B. Job satisfaction, get them there, get paid. But sometimes because of the circumstances, I have to do different routes, different ways to get there. And it might not always be the correct option.
Park Lane is shut southbound, Hyde Park shut. So everyone that wants to go down Park Lane or through Hyde Park has to go down Kensington Church Street. Unfortunately, it's the only thing we can use to get us in the Chelsea direction.
Pleasantly enough, it does all flow quite neatly. I get the left into Cromwell Road, right Queensbury Place, left Harrington Road, right Glendower Place, that just cuts the lights off at South Kensington, through South Kensington Junction, down Onslow Square, forward Sydney Place, left Cale Street, and get the right into Godfrey Street. So it takes just over 40 minutes. It's normally about a 20-minute job or so. So it's frustrating, but it's all I can do with the circumstances. And that's the problem with some of these days. People think, yeah, you're going to be coining it in, but A, I can't get to the areas that I want to pick people up. And even if I can move around, I'm still stuck in terms of my options of getting around. If I had done that much quicker, I could have just collected the 30 quid onto the next job. I would love that. It doesn't benefit me financially trying to extend the journey. It certainly doesn't benefit me spiritually trying to do that. When I do the short jobs, it's the £3.80 starting fare. If I can bang it out really quickly, like a tenner job, they might stick a couple of quid on it. Therefore, £5.80 of that job is for doing nothing, basically. That's like almost pure profit. It's annoying when you get jobs like that because it really brings a downer on it. Like, you think, why am I out here? Like, is it not valued that I've just got you from A to B? And she's like, oh, should have taken the tube. Well, yeah, that was an option. I wouldn't force you in the cab. I would much rather a customer turn around and say,
Okay, thank you for telling me that. We're not going to get in your taxi because of the traffic you've told us. Great, because I don't want to subject anyone to that. I don't want people stuck in the back of their taxi just watching the meter tick up. That's awful. That's people's hard-earned money, right?
So I head around the Chelsea area and I pick up this gent on the King's Road. Now they're after Oxford Street. It's my first job going, that close to Oxford Street today. So I let them know that there might be a bit of traffic en route. Amazingly, getting through Chelsea and into the Belgravia area is stupendously clear. Like Grosvenor Crescent is the clearest I've seen it in ages. And I even bust it round Hyde Park Corner pretty well. And up Park Lane, this is flowing beautifully. But I imagine it's because of the sheer amount of closures this central, people can't or aren't going there. They're probably going much wider than this immediate central area. And look, you can clearly see that Park Lane is shut southbound. So much so there's actually a Pride March coming down Park Lane. It's a shame that, the previous passenger couldn't see this, and this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Anyway, northbound's running well. Marble Arch is a little bit heavy because, of course, a lot of traffic that might be headed for Park Lane has to divert into Oxford Street. We get into Oxford Street quite neatly, and I drop them just after Selfridges. This guy is really polite and fully understanding of the situation. And it's just such a contrast from the previous passenger to this guy. It makes up for it big time. As we approach Oxford Circus, I have a lady come up to my taxi and ask me how much it is to Trafalgar Square. And because I've done my homework, I can confidently tell my passenger that it is impossible.
How much would it cost from here to Trafalgar?
The roads are closed, I can't get there.
All right.
So you gotta walk it, okay.
So I decide to join the John Lewis rank. This is sometimes affectionately known as boot lids, because apparently once upon a time, when cabs would overrank this taxi rank, they would open the boot of their taxi, and the old TX4s, the boot would open downwards like that. So it would obscure the number plate, because apparently there would be a camera that would zap any cabs that would be overranking on the street. On this rank, I'm quite neatly parked, so if they did say something like Covent Garden, I can rationally think through the route, think about where I can actually get them, and then confidently display that to them. In this case, it's not an issue because they just wish to go to Paddington. Lovely. So we'll leave this by Henrietta Place, get a right into Wimpole Street, forward Upper Wimpole Street, and forward into Devonshire Place. Left on the Marylebone Road, and get into Paddington the same way as we did before. As I'm a little bit scarred from that lady earlier, I decided to join the rank here at Paddington. Again, I can have a little bit of time to think about how I might run a route, or maybe even ask one of my colleagues, who knows. After a little bit of waiting, I get this one out to Chiswick, Airedale Avenue. This is great because it gets me away from the West End madness, but also because of how far away it is into Chiswick, it means I can use the West Way. Get a left into Blomfontein Road, right Sawley Road, and use Adelaide Grove to get us out onto the Uxbridge Road. From here, I'll use Percy Road, to get us onto the Askew Road, Goldhawk Road, right into Chiswick High Road, and left into Airedale Avenue. Nice. As I'm dropping off, I have an app job come up that's going to pull me back into the West End. Touch. And that's the cool thing with the app jobs, is that it will show me where it's going, so I can assess, is this realistically a run that I can do? The pickup is just near the roundabout on Goldhawk Road, this pub here, and they want to go to the Piccadilly Theatre on Denman Street.
There's quite a lot of closures in central London, I don't know if you know about this.
I can either just run it straight, just Goldhawk Road, Shepherd's Bush Green, through the Holland Park roundabout, Holland Park Avenue, Bayswater Road, and just Oxford Street and just keep going. Or I can go high up onto the West Way, but the issue with that is you've got to come back down and it will add a bit more to the meter. So I just run it straight. I let them know that we might encounter some problems along the way, but I'll do my best to try and navigate against them. I can't get them in from Piccadilly, so I'm probably better off staying high like I did for the very first job into Soho earlier this day and dropping them at the top. And then they can just take a nice leisurely walk down Regent Street, and the straight line into town works really, really well. It's still a little bit heavy at Notting Hill Gate area because of everyone trying to get that right turn and left turn into Palace Gardens Terrace for Kensington Church Street. Still heavy at Marble Arch because Park Lane's still being shut, but eventually onto Oxford Street, we crawl our way through and drop them off there 7 o'clock. From here, I'm quick to get an on and off job. These people just want to go to Edgware Road, the Salt Bar. So spin it back round along Oxford Street, get a right into Orchard Street, left Portman Mews South and forward into Bryanston Street. Right Great Cumberland Place, left Seymour Street, and this is my usual way of setting myself up for Edgware Road, because a lot of people when they get in they just say Edgware Road, they don't define where. So I come in from Seymour, get my right, and that allows me to cruise the whole length and they'll tell me when to stop. Because of where I am and knowing that Park Lane's shut, Oxford Street's a bit busy and I'm already pointing north, I'm thinking I'm just going to go to Marylebone Station. Again, same rationale that I can sort of talk through what I'm going to do with my passengers, or maybe get a job that takes me well away from the West End entirely. Now I actually get this job knocked back to me from the cab in front. I don't know why the cab driver didn't take it, but maybe they hadn't thought through the option, because they come up to me and just say they want Park Lane. So the cab driver's probably just gone, sorry love, Park Lane's shut, can't get you there. I have a quick look on Google and find out exactly where this is, and it's kind of right near the top, right by Marble Arch. So I know that I can just drop them at Marble Arch. I say, you okay if I do that? So just do the U-turn outside of the station, leave that by Hayward Avenue, right into Marylebone Road, left Seymour Place, left George Street, right Great Cumberland Place, and then drop them off outside the Cumberland Hotel. Nice. I jump on a Selfridges and have this gent who just wants to go to Park Street. Now I let him know about Park Lane being shut southbound, then I realise I don't need to use Park Lane anyway. This gentleman sort of knows the local area and lives on Park Street, so he knows I'm going to be wiggling through Mayfair anyway. So you just go down North Audley Street, around Grosvenor Square, down South Audley Street, and he's right down the bottom of Park Street. Park Street's one way northbound, so you do a right into South Street, past the Egyptian Embassy, right into Park Street, and then just set him down on the right there. When I'm coming in via South Street though, I can actually see that Park Lane is once again open southbound. So once I've dropped him off, I go out and have a little bit of investigation, because sometimes when they open one big street, they might open multiples as well. I can see that Piccadilly is still shut, but all the Palace roads are firmly open. Constitution Hill, the Mall. I just drive around here as much as possible. And in the process, I notice a group of tourists who are round by the Queen Victoria Memorial. They get in and just ask for Leicester Square. I let them know that I'm probably not going to be able to get into Leicester Square. At most, it's probably going to be Admiralty Arch or Trafalgar Square. I chug along the Mall and the road is closed at the junction of Horse Guards Road. These are people who've just come into town for the weekend, nice family day out, and I haven't really got them much closer to Leicester Square. So I just let them have it as a freebie.
Don't worry about paying me, that's on me.
Come on, man.
Nah, that's fine. We didn't go that far, did we? That's a freebie for the day. Have a good one, alright?
You know, if I'm having a really good day anyway, it's nice to be able to give away freebies like that. And it's just embarrassing to ask for like £7 for like what feels like a 2-minute journey that got them basically nowhere. Then as I'm coming back, I noticed that Marlborough Gate is open. There's signage saying that taxis are allowed in there. Not much activity. I can't get up the length of St James's Street, but luckily as I leave Marlborough Gate, I have a hand go up on Pall Mall. They just want Harrods. Now I'm not even going to draw this one up on the map. You know how to get to Harrods from Pall Mall. Straight out Marlborough Gate, the Mall, Constitution Hill, Hyde Park Corner, Knightsbridge, Brompton Road, set down on left, Bob's your uncle. And amazingly, I even managed to get the jump on the front door of Harrods. Wait there a little bit longer than expected, but these people just want to go to the Westminster Park Plaza. A doddle. Because of how light the traffic is at Knightsbridge, I don't have to do my usual trick of going through Trevor Street and Trevor Square. I just turn around here on Brompton Road and start heading eastbound. Through Knightsbridge, and I peel left at the Hyde Park Corner. This time, Hyde Park Corner into Park Lane is a little bit heavier, but eventually round the corner, down Constitution Hill and back through the Palace roads. Once we get to Birdcage Walk, it's the straight line setup for Westminster Bridge. Great George Street, Parliament Square. Whitehall still looks shut, so that's enough one to remember. Bridge Street, Westminster Bridge. Left in that little taxi buses slip and then drop the Westminster Park Plaza there. Now as I drop off, I'm quick to get an on and off job. That's the other cool thing about days like this when so many roads are shut. Cabs can't quite get to the areas they need to be, so there's a lot of black spots about. These people want to go to the Ivy on West Street.
Oh, West Street, yeah, the original Ivy, yeah. I'm just trying to think.
I'm thinking it through in terms of all the restrictions that are presented in front of me. I can't go up Whitehall. I can't go up Charing Cross Road. God, how am I going to get them there? Like, before I've got them in the cab, of course. And then it comes to me instantly. Over Waterloo Bridge. Bash it up the Kingsway. Left into High Holborn and drop in from Shaftesbury Avenue that way. And I get as far as the junction of Shaftesbury Avenue and that's still closed there. But I let them know it's not too far a walk from here. Nice. It's nearing 9 o'clock at this point. I'm getting peckish, so I'm thinking I'm going to need to stop for some food at some point. But I get hailed down on Tottenham Court Road. Now, this young couple get in and just ask for Hoxton. Me thinking Hoxton as in the place. So I start heading eastbound along New Oxford Street, and a little bit of quizzing, they actually mean the Hoxton Hotel. I double check because, of course, there's 3 Hoxton hotels, confusingly enough. You've got the Hoxton at Blackfriars, you've got the Hoxton at Holborn, and then you've got the Hoxton on Great Eastern Street. So from here, you just bash it out on a straight line. Clerkenwell Road. Forward that into Old Street. Old Street roundabout traffic is pretty light. Leave that by Old Street. Bear right into Great Eastern Street. Set them down on the right. Beautiful. Now, whenever I drop in East London and it's late and I'm hungry, I will always usually go to the bagel shop on Brick Lane, or Bagel, however you want to pronounce it. I try for some time. I try all the streets in this area that I normally park on so I can go and walk to the bagel shop. But it's rammed. I can't get anywhere. So, no bagel for me tonight, I'm afraid. So I drive on. Maybe I'll get another job and that will take me to an area where I can get dinner later on. Heading down Bishopsgate, I have this couple near the bus stop. Now, these are some proper Londoners. They just want to go home after a long day out and they ask for Sutton Street. It initially froze me at first, but it's in East London, just off of Commercial Road. The big point here that can kind of help you out is the George Tavern on Commercial Road. Left into Houndsditch, left St Botolph Street, right Middlesex Street, just round that Aldgate Gyratory area, left Whitechapel High Street, and a right into Commercial Road. Just head along and then get a right into Sutton Street. They just want to be dropped there. I head back in and the city's looking proper dead. But around 20 past 10 at this point, it might be worth checking out the Barbican. There's usually something going on at the Barbican Theatre. And, as luck would have it, I managed to pick a job up there. Now, thereafter London Bridge. The correct option for this might have been turning around and coming in via Finsbury Pavement, Moorgate, and that sets me up for Bank. But just kind of getting the run started, I'm forced left out onto Beach Street, and once I'm in the Beach Street tunnel, I've got no other option other than to head towards Barbican Station. The route, of course, comes to me. I basically need to be getting to London Bridge, but I'm going to use Bank Junction. Forward into Aldersgate Street, forward St Martin's Le Grand, and left into Cheapside. Obviously, this isn't going to show up on a sat-nav or anything because only taxis, buses and cycles can go through that gate at Cheapside to set you up for Bank Junction. Forward Poultry, leave by King William Street, through Swire Junction, over London Bridge, left railway approach and drop them off there. Now, I have someone come up to my cab in a quick on and off fashion, but always worth checking that even if the rank was empty when I turned up, there might have been another taxi that's gone round and joined the rank subsequently. These people just want to go to Peckham, away we go. Now, it's a multi-drop job down to Peckham, and if I'm completely honest, it was a real kind of Google job. I have pretty much zero clue down there other than just heading towards the Old Kent Road and then figuring it out on the way. They helped me out with the routes along the way. First drop is just off of Old Kent Road. The next one is a bit deeper down into Nunhead. It's time to head back in and hopefully get one in the correct direction of home.
11 o'clock. I told myself I didn't want to stay out this late. I've had it seriously like with the past 4 days or so. Getting in like 12:30. Last night got in at 1. We're now just off the Queen's Road in Peckham. So I'm the very wrong end of town. This is where the crunch time happens. Stay tuned. Will I end up north?
Something I've never really thought about is going up Tower Bridge Road and coming in via the Shard. Maybe rank at the Shard and get someone there, because more often than not, they might want to go west, something like that. And that works perfectly for me. I rank on the Shard for a bit, and thereafter the Hoxton Hotel. Now, not the one we dropped at earlier, they're actually after the Hoxton Holborn. So to leave this, St Thomas Street, left Borough High Street, you're forced left there anyway, bear right into Southwark Street, and get a right into Frail Street. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over Southwark Bridge. Sets us up for the left into Upper Thames Street, forward into the Victoria Embankment, and I'm going to get a right into Temple Place. Basically what I want to do is get to the Aldwych. Depending on traffic, you would either use Surrey Street and come through Melbourne Place, and then once you're on the Aldwych, you've got the predicament of getting the right turn into Kingsway. That can sometimes be a bit sticky as well. Luckily, it runs okay for us. Left into High Holborn, set them down on the left. It's nearing midnight, so if I'm honest, I do just want one in the correct direction home. So I'm thinking I'm just going to start driving in the direction of home, still keeping my light on. Get to Museum Street, and outside this pub, these couple of people just want to go to the Rosewood Hotel. Nice, small job, around a corner, I can quickly knock that out, awesome. Drop them off, and then I think, right, Rosebery Avenue, I'm going to head on home. As I'm going up Rosebery Avenue, I get an app notification saying there's a job from City Road all the way to Hampstead Garden suburb. So it is a 10-minute drive in the eastward direction, and thankfully they don't cancel the job before I turn up. Managed to pick them up. And we are on the way to Ingram Avenue. City Road, Provost Street, Vestry Street, East Road, forward into New North Road, forward Canterbury Road, through Highbury Corner, up Holloway Road, around Archway Junction, and rather than my habitual way of going home up Archway Road, I take Tollerton Way to get a right into Highgate Hill, setting me up for Highgate High Street. Over the roundabout, by the Gatehouse pub, I want to leave by Hampstead Lane, right Winnington Road, left into Ingram Avenue. Saturdays are pretty mega, and if you can get over the initial craziness, they are a pretty good shift to work. If you want another crazy shift from the taxi, well, you should check out the video where I worked New Year's Eve. I'll leave that on screen for you now.